All right, greetings, YouTube. This is Brandon Hill here with Tara Pegasus, and together we are creators of Wild Space Saga, the epic sci-fi action adventure series you didn't know you needed. And this is the Wild Space podcast made specifically to tell you exactly why you need it. And as we've been around for a hot minute in relative silence on DeviantArt, what you've been missing. But before we begin, take a moment to subscribe and hit that beautiful notification bell so that you won't miss a single bit of news, events, and live streams from our channel. Whether you catch us live or are watching after the fact, we want you to join us on the Northwest Passage. And finally, if you piqued your interest, links to our books available in paperback and ebook, as well as everywhere else you can find on social medias, are available down in the doobly-doo. Now, if you're wondering why I look a little bit flustered, I just got on because I just woke up. So I was running around.
Someone's been harassing him for the last 5 minutes to get on.
What?
Someone's been harassing you for the last 5 minutes to get on.
Well, I was out like a light. So, let me see. Oh, mom and dad were asking me for water. Sorry, I was still checking messages on my phone. So, but yeah. So but here I am, and I do believe we'll have our friend joining us in a little bit. He did say he was going to be joining us. Let me go ahead and put on a little bit of music because I did add something new the other day.
You can tell he's late. He didn't have the song ready.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Now, where is the? Here it is. Turn that down a little bit there. All right. And that one is for Twisted Faith. We have a whole little collection of songs, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't give that one away yet. Not ready for those ones yet. It's too late now. You put it on there.
Well, I'm sorry. You sent it to me, so I'm going to add stuff that you send me to the...
I actually said keep it for the release event, but he got all excited and he shot his bolt early. What can we do, eh? Get medication for that,
Oh, I don't remember you telling me to keep that one.
Yeah, I did.
I'm sorry. I realized it.
This is our dynamic, It's like I send him a message, he doesn't even register it. Like, oh, sorry, yeah, and then scrolls back and goes, oh, yeah. So I have to give him the disapproving.
Yeah, sorry about that. Let me check on a little thing because we usually have a friend of ours who joins us. I don't know if he's going to be doing that day or not. So give me just 1 second to find out. But it doesn't matter because we always do this whether we have people in our chat or not. But as I was saying, we regardless of how prematurely I posted the song, we wanted to let people know that we do have. Okay, here we are. All right, we do have songs that we post all the time. Though all the songs that we post every single day are songs that are available on the on our channels. I'm going to start posting more of them on our X channel. Terry hasn't posted on the Instagram. All those, like I said in the beginning, you can find.
What I do on Instagram, just to clarify, is I usually have like a 30-second clip of it with a link to the full song on YouTube.
Just 1 moment. Okay, somebody must have sent me a message, but I'm still not seeing it. Oh well. Anyway, but I don't know if it got to him or not. Well, if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. The show must go on. And I do believe that Michael should be joining us in a little bit. He did say he would. I don't know, maybe he was a bit late in getting to it again, but we'll see if not. So as we told everybody, the books that we have available, as we tell every single time, are our first 3 books in our story. These are the older covers because we have them re-released, and those re-releases are available in ebook format right now. We will be having them available soon in paperback. Our publishers are having a little bit of trouble getting them out, but that's okay. They will be out soon.
Actually, I believe Between the Devil and the Dark, the revised version is available now in a hard copy, at least in paperback. Because one of my friends, he works in a school and he got their library to order it in, and he sent me a photo the other day. I forgot to share it with you. So one of our friends has got the book in their school library.
No, it's available in the UK, but not in the States.
I don't know how we got them to order it in, but it's there. They actually have a physical copy in their library.
So let
well
me check.
Proud of that.
Yeah, that is great. Let me check on that. As a matter of fact, while we're at that.
But it was the revised version because it had the new cover as well. So I was like, hey, well, I was quite pleased and very happy.
All right. Well, let me see what we got here. All right. Seeing the audio. Why do they keep having that cover for audiobook? Looking for paperback. For us, it still shows the old cover for paperback. When you said hardcover, like hardback?
No, as in hard copy, rather than just an ebook.
Oh, okay.
Physical book, physical media.
All right. I'm still seeing the old cover, and
I don't know. All I saw was he showed me a picture of the book, and he says, "Yeah, he got the school library to order it, so that was cool."
Well, like I said, I know that they sent me an email saying that they were having an issue with the distributor for the hard copies, but that might just be a thing that's going on in the States. Maybe they didn't have the same kind of trouble in the UK. So
I've honestly got no idea. I have my head buried too much in content creation to follow whether or not our books. I rely on you for that.
Yeah, well, that's just what they had sent me. But anyway, all that aside, people. So the two that I showed you were the first two books, Between the Devil and the Dark and Wrath and Redemption. Now those are the older copies, so the older covers. We do have the newer versions that are available right now in ebook, at least here in the States. And I know that the versions that are going to be paperback and hardcover will be available before long. I know that our publisher was having a bit of trouble getting them, and so our third book right here, Twisted Fate, will be available on the 23rd, and do have something special planned for the release. As a matter of fact, I believe this week or weekend, I'll be doing some read alouds from the three books for people who are kind of interested in the content, but maybe aren't too curious yet to look for the books themselves. And I'm actually a fairly decent voice actor, so I can actually do good.
Blow your trumpet there. That's it. Blow your own trumpet.
Yes, I will. I will do that. I will totally do that.
This song that we're playing will get published on the day as well on YouTube for everyone to hear, because it follows the plot of the book. I also have two others for the previous ones that I will also sort out during the week, though I do have another Law music event coming before that, so keep an eye out.
Right, and those books are going to be available, and some events that are going to be surrounding those books. And lately, I'd wanted to get a few things taken off the ground recently, but I was having a bit of some health issues for the past week or so. I'm not going to worry about it. I should be all right. Going to the doctor this Tuesday anyway. So all that stuff is going to be taken care of. I also going to be having some more drawing events. As we like to do, we do share some of the artwork that we work on, especially on our X channel. If you want to see some of that, and of course on our DeviantArt. Our X channel shows some of the artwork in progress, and some things that we maybe some things that we might not release on DeviantArt, like things that we have put, like animations that I've made using Grok and what's it called, ChatGPT. I know a lot of people are kind of ambivalent about AI stuff, but we do it just more or less for fun.
As I have said on every stream, I don't give a shit. And whether people like that or not, it's useful to us, it's useful to me for rendering my characters in a realistic way that I cannot do myself. And it's able to do it within minutes, which provides me a plethora of concept art, wallpapers, title cards for content production that would otherwise take forever. And I'm not interested in making money from it. I do agree that I don't think somebody should call themselves an artist when the data center does the heavy lifting for you. But the fact is, it's very useful for what we're trying to do right now. And you can disagree with that. That's fine. That's your prerogative. But the fact is, I'm going to use it. So, because it does what I want it to.
Okay, I just now noticed on my phone we got a message from Michael saying he'll be about 10 minutes late. So, well, it's 10 minutes.
It's all right. It's no big deal, is it?
Huh?
It's no big deal, really, is it?
No. I was just like, and so there's no problem. But yeah, so so this is a bit of explanation just for a Twisted Fate that kind of takes. For those of you who read the books, it takes the story in a slightly different direction. It does pick up immediately after the events in the prior book, where Xerxes is taken by a friend to Anrahara, which is the homeworld of the Felian race, the only other race that humans, the only other alien race that humans know of, for a special mission that he's called to, leaving Neela and the rest of the crew of the Reckless to kind of pilot things on their own for a little while. And so once again, it does end up bringing together him and the Shadow Star to end up protecting a half-human, half-Felian baby, and not just any hybrid baby, but a princess of the Felian Empire, born from the Felian Empress herself. So a lot of things happen in that story that, especially conspiracies involving anti-alien religious cult. Oh, and StreamYard kind of borked on us for a second there. You there, man?
It has on you, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You
okay, yeah.
Up, so I know that you continue talking, so I just waited for you to come back in.
Well, yeah, but I saw the screen blank out. I just want to make sure everything was still going all right. I know that.
Yeah.
I watch other shows on YouTube, and they do StreamYard, and they and they sometimes have issues. And
StreamYard's not perfect, but it's the most stable free one. So
yeah, I had a bit of a scare right when I woke up, and I had my computer in my room, and I accidentally dropped it. Fortunately, it wasn't a very long fall on the carpeted floor, but it still kind of scared me because I've had that happen before, and my computer ended up broken. So it's just like
I rarely take my desktop to bed with me, so.
Well, it's a desktop. I hope
it's quite cumbersome. The cables are usually the main nightmare and moving everything out of the way. But, I could try. It's like this as well, but, I'll cuddle it, I suppose.
Also, we
nice and warm now, wouldn't it?
Also got some good news. We had a slight uptick in people who are watching stuff on X because we had some friendly people sharing like our announcements for the Wild Space Wildcast, which I posted the other day. So maybe you have some people popping in, popping out just out of curiosity. Maybe they'll come back at a later point or watch it after the fact. But that's okay. Whether you're watching live or watching after the fact, people, we appreciate you, and we hope that you will subscribe to us and also to our other social medias out there to learn more about this amazing universe. One of the best places to go probably be our DeviantArt page, where we have tons of artwork, all concept art, all things that we've worked on the past, and we have little explanations of the different things.
On the YouTube.
But here is the place where you can come to ask us questions directly about our books, about us, about whatever you have in mind. Don't be shy. We love the feedback. We love the interactions. It gives us things to talk about. So just to let you know, because I know some people might be a little shy.
As you can tell, Brandon doesn't need much to get talking.
No, not really. But
no. I will say though, this week I did the Pirate Clans, lore music this week. It's been the best performing of all of them so far by a massive margin. So clearly, somebody liked it. You guys liked it a lot, and appreciate it.
I think you'll like.
So go on.
Yeah, I think people are gonna like our Space Pirates in the books. They're a very interesting group.
The most popular has been Sister Serenity by a mile. She's had 154 views and 9 likes, which is by far the most popular video apart from one. And do you know who that is?
Which one?
The legend Chuck Norris, because obviously I did a tribute song to Chuck Norris. He's got 11 likes and like 200 plus views, but then it's Chuck Norris. What do you expect? But yeah, so outside of that, Serenity has been a popular character based on the song and the art card that came with it.
there's this guy I follow on YouTube. He and I guess it's just sort of an unsolicited shout out. WDW Pro. He's a guy who talks about Hollywood news and especially stuff involving Disney and all that kind of stuff. But he does little AI generated clips in his show, just for funsies. And there's one where he has the he has the scene with Darth Vader and Luke after he cut his arm off, and Luke's hanging on the thing, and Darth Vader's pleading to him. And then Chuck Norris comes up from behind Darth Vader and windmill kicks him in the back of the head.
I've seen a few of them. They're hilarious.
He's like, no!
There's been a few of them where he turns up in a lot of movies. Just straight up kicks the bad guy out of frame.
I think Chuck Norris is the new John Cena. Oh, and now speaking of no one, nah, just kidding, man. But here we have Michael. He's joined us. Let me go ahead and put him in, man.
Hey.
Were you just comparing me to John Cena? Is that what you were saying?
Oh, actually, we were talking about Chuck Norris. Terry did a little music piece, tribute to Chuck Norris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when he passed, I put it on YouTube. It's called The Legend of Chuck Norris.
And I was talking about how people like WDW Pro, if you ever follow him, he does little AI clips, and he did this one with that scene from Star Wars where Vader is pleading to Luke when Luke he had cut off his hand, but the Chuck Norris appears behind Vader and he windmill kicks him in the back of the head and sends him tumbling down that shaft instead of Luke.
No, yeah.
Okay, you know the one I'm talking about, yeah.
The reason it came up is just because I do my little music projects, and this week I did one on the pirate clans, and they've been by far the most popular videos on the channel.
Okay.
By a large margin, with one of them having the most views and the most likes, apart from the Chuck Norris video. So it's like, well, this is technically our best performing video related to our content.
Right.
It's just behind Chuck Norris, but then what a surprise, it's Chuck Norris.
Right. You can't, there's no such thing as being in front of Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
You can only be behind him in reverse.
Nobody gets behind Chuck Norris.
Not behind you, he just chooses to face the other way. Yeah.
If you're behind Chuck Norris, he's already behind you again.
Yeah.
That's my limit making a Chuck Norris joke.
The next piece fresh off the printer.
Oh, okay. What are you working on now?
Still the Borg cube. So I'm in the process. These are all sections of the hull. So,
man, that's huge.
Yeah. So there are 4 of these per side, and so this is part 1 of the 4. So I have 4 of these printed. I need 1 more because I'm making 5 sides identical, and then the bottom will actually have a hole in it for the stand. So the bottom will have unique parts.
Okay. So you're gonna put like little lights in there or something, like green lights?
Yeah, I'm basically molding it. Well, let's see. I can point the camera over here. You see that lamp right there?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I have a larger version of it. It's like 5 feet tall that stands on the floor. Exactly the same lamp, though. And those are fairly cheap. So I'm designing it to basically slide over that lamp. And then inside the lamp, I'm putting a bulb that is a flame bulb, but green.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And so that way it'll kind of pulse in green light.
Oh, that's going to look pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's going to look sick. I can't wait to see your finished product on that one.
Yeah, I've been obsessing over the Borg for a long time. So this is...
All right. Oh, and just so you know, for those who weren't watching us the last week, go ahead and introduce yourself, Michael.
I'm a very old nerd. No, my name is Michael J. Crawford. I have a few YouTube channels. One, I discuss theology and other controversial subjects. On one, we have live streams where we fight over various nerd-based topics. And on one, I do pre-scripted videos on nerd-based topics. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
All right.
Yeah.
And once again, thank you for joining us. He was here last week, ladies and gentlemen. For those of y'all who weren't with us, we had ourselves a great time. It's always the interactions we love when people ask us questions. And I was telling the audience, like, if there's anybody in the audience who wants to go ahead into the chat and ask questions, hey, you don't even have to do super chats. We don't even have that right now. So
no, we don't. We don't have the 3 million required shorts views yet.
Yeah.
We have about
However,
500. So we're on the way.
my primary channel can do super chat, so they can always super chat there.
I see.
And I promise, for every dollar that I get, I will give Terry and Brandon good wishes.
It just gives a smile. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. But all we ask is you do a shout out for us on your channels, just so to see if we can get more, people joining us. Because it's been a bit of an uphill battle, but we're still making it, and we're still going to keep plugging away.
Well, as far as I know,
your channel has such a specific topic, and I think that will always work against you a little bit, in that the only people that would really search out your channel are people that know your book. Am I wrong, or am I?
No, I agree. At the end of the day, the only way to build is to keep going.
Yeah.
Because if we stop, we're never going to get there.
You kind of sputtered a little bit on my end, Michael. I didn't quite hear what you were trying to say.
So the downside of building a channel like this one is that you have such a specific topic to the channel that only a very select few people would be interested in it. In select few in the grand scheme of things. I mean, honestly, if you could get every eyeball to at least view your channel, I'm sure you'd have 1 million subscribers, because there's 800 million people that use YouTube. But the problem is getting those eyeballs in front of your channel, when if they don't know about your books, they're probably not going to check out a channel with the same title. Although, let me ask you this: in the books, do you reference this channel?
Well, we don't get meta. We don't. We don't.
Well, no, I don't mean in the
no.
narrative.
I think in the actual page, we didn't have the channel when those books were initially published.
Right. Well, so I would definitely. I don't know if you can revise a book that's published through Kindle or anything, but if you can, I would put in there that, like, for more information, go to this YouTube channel. Like at the beginning.
The least we can do is make sure it's in the next one.
Yeah. I'm just saying that would be a great way, so as people grow to like the books, they'll be like, ooh, if you want to get to know the people behind it, here's an opportunity to do that. Just like
every week, and
it'd be like if imagine if you went to, see the Mandalorian next week, and Jon Favreau in the opening credits listed a YouTube channel where you could live chat with him. People would flock to it. So,
no, it's a good point.
Yeah.
As I say, we'll make sure we put it in future publications. But yeah, this channel wasn't actually built and prepared when those first 3 were produced. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, we were just kind of. I was doing like a few ads here and there online. Kind of spitting out into the void, I guess. So, but we kind of got a few lessons on, how to build an online audience, and so we're working on that.
Right.
So we're doing a lot more. We're going a lot more multimedia, I guess you could say. Probably other things we could do that we're working on. We just need to, I guess, keep plugging away at it. I'm also trying to post things on Discord and stuff like that to get people interested. And admittedly, I did forget to post this one on Discord. So that maybe, but you also got to be careful of that, because sometimes some people on Discord don't want people, posting things like ads and whatnot. Especially I did that like on both Discord and do that on Facebook. So similar. I guess we're gonna get a few more people interested in it, and we do talk a bit more. We talk about our books. And we talk, of course, from our last conversation, we talk about things that are tangentially related to our books as well. And so the things that are sci-fi, things that are, that kind of stuff.
Speaking of which, I have a question for you.
Sure thing.
So describe your collaborative process here. Like, do you guys have specific roles that you do when you're writing?
Yeah, Brandon has an idea. I say no.
Okay.
I kind of went through that process earlier yesterday. Well, really, it was.
I just spotted this anime waifu. She'd be a great character in our stuff. No, Brandon. Think with your brain, not with your pants.
It wasn't. I wasn't trying to do it for the white. It was because I like the aesthetic of the clothing design, and he thought I was trying to go for just making these like completely sexy and practical clothes, and I was like, I don't have to make something that completely revealing. It could be more conservative,
Well, I was just thinking, like, it seems to me like Terry is kind of the techie guy. Yeah, and Brandon, you seem more of the mushy interpersonal relations kind of guy. And I'm not saying mushy to be mean. It's just that, you get into the emotional side of it more than Terry. Am I wrong in that, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of on the nose about that. I do tend to be more of the voice of the group, of the duo. Because like when we have meetings for a publisher, I do more talking than he does. So I've always been a talker. So for better.
That's also just my own personal issues with social things. I struggle with it. This may seem easy for me, but it's a massive energy drain to try and be sociable online.
No, I understand. I generally hate people, so sometimes you have to.
It's quite amusing because most people have autism and ADHD, whereas I'm autism, he's ADHD. So we are a Gestalt being with the same issues as some people have in one body.
Sure. Well, I understand that. Well, I mean, in my family, my son is autistic.
Yeah.
My dad was autistic, although undiagnosed. Because back in his day, there was no such thing. Okay. So since you mentioned it, I got to say this. I don't know how you feel over on your side of the pond, but I'm sure you've heard all these RFK anti-vax types that will sit there and try to say the vaccines cause autism. And one of the things that they'll use to try and argue for that is that there was a huge spike in diagnoses of autism spectrum disorder starting in the mid-1990s. But the mid-1990s is when autism spectrum disorder became a classifiable disorder. So that's why there was a spike, not because
it coincides with when we became more aware and more understanding of what it is, how it functions.
Yeah, prior to I think it was 1996, if I remember correctly. Prior to that, there was autism, but autism was not considered a spectrum. So if you were not what we would now call like low functioning autism, then it wouldn't count. You were just odd or weird.
You're just learning disabled or something like that.
Yeah. Right. But
I used to work in mental health as a career, so I'm fully trained in it. I know what all signs are and everything.
I used to work in a company that did home care for people who had autism.
I never worked in mental health. I just have a lot of mentally compromised people in my life. So.
Mine was medium secure as well. So they were ones who'd had a violent history, and so they were in a locked environment as well. Actually, quite tragic, a lot of them, because a lot of it was through awful upbringings that they were even that violent.
Right.
Once you understood their diagnosis, their issues, who they were as a person, you could work with them. And a lot of them, we were quite successful with. It might take years, because at the end of the day, they have their own struggles. They had learning disabilities as well as other diagnoses. Some of them were schizophrenic as well as autistic,
right.
And so the poor guys had a lot going on. So you can understand why the fists might fly some days, But even if it took years for them to be able to move on to a more independent setting, even if it's just supported living, from being in a locked ward environment, doors where we had to let them in and out everywhere, all that kind of thing, to being able to go shopping, albeit with someone, but in a house, like a shared house.
Yeah, like what we would call a halfway house.
Yeah. We call it supported living. It's the same thing. But you think, even if it took them 5-10 years to get there, they got there. And that was always our thing. It was, you're only where you are because you've had a rough upbringing and no one really understood what was going on with you. You're now in an environment where people do, and we'll get you there. And,
well, yeah. Terry, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a movie I saw a few weeks ago you might like. It's called I Swear. And
I've not heard of it, but I'm guessing the person has Tourette's.
In fact, the opening scene shows the opening scene is like I think in 2018, and they show there's a very formal gathering in a castle somewhere in Britain, and a bunch of people are standing there or sitting in their seats, and you can see in the distance the Queen is actually standing at a podium in the front, and one of the guys runs out of the room. And then what looks like his mother follows him, and she's like, "What's wrong? I can't do this. I can't. You can do it. You can do it. I can't do this. I can't do it. You can do it. You can do it." And so okay. And so they go back into the room. The second he sets foot in the room, he screams at the top of his lungs, "F the Queen!" And then the title card pops up, I Swear. And that's an actual incident that happened in 2018. For this guy that got a medal from Queen Elizabeth for his work with people with Tourette's. Figure you might appreciate it to be, being both from your part of the world and having to do with these kind of neurological conditions.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one, Tourette's, because there used to be a program called The Undateables we had, where these people basically they have Tourette's and they're single because it's like one of them. She volunteers at a pets thing, but she has to be out the back, looking after the animals and everything like that, because she can't control what she says, so she's coming out with, it stinks, it's crap, Well,
a lot of people, because this guy was one of those where, and believe me, the movie does not hold back on the things that he says. And in fact, I saw a couple of interviews with kids that actually
this
have
is Michael
Tourette's.
Finn.
Huh?
It's all right. Finn was asking who you were, so I was just.
Okay. So I saw an interview with both the guy that this movie was based on, as well as other people with Tourette's, and they all really loved the fact that this was the most accurate portrayal of Tourette's they've ever seen. But because a lot of people don't realize, yes, it's out of their control, but it is somewhat situational. So if I had his type of Tourette's, I might yell out in the middle of this live stream that I'm sitting here with an N-word and a bald limey or something, and not mean anything by it, but that just pops out, and it's incredibly difficult.
One analogy I sort of related to it is the fact that basically they have no internal monologue. So sometimes thoughts pop in your head, sometimes inappropriate. Yeah, we all get it. Sometimes they just pop in your mind and you immediately forget it. No, it immediately comes out of their mouth. Before they even had a chance to register it.
He was in a courtroom and he told the judge in testimony that his lawyer was an N-word. And so the attorney looked at the judge and said, "Yeah, see what I mean?" It's as he was trying to make the case that he just says random things about people that sometimes people find incredibly insulting.
It's amazing how your brain can think of so many things at once. So you can look at someone and you'll probably think of all the negative things and positive things at once without even registering that you thought of them.
Right. But then your mouth
with Tourette's, they all fire out like missiles.
So Michael, our friend asked a little question about the math equation in the background, and you said, does that have any kind of significance?
That particular equation is the actual equation for time dilation.
Oh, okay.
In physics.
I didn't know you.
If you can understand that, you understand time dilation.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know you did physics.
I'm working on it. Yes, I'm working towards. It's going to take me quite. I'm just hoping to live long enough, but I'm actually going for a PhD in astrophysics.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, this. So I don't know how much you know about like basic algebra stuff, but a triangle is it's the Greek delta, and it signifies a change. So if you see a triangle by a variable, it means a change in this, right? So if we look at it, triangle T is a change in time, and then it goes through the c squared is speed of light squared, v squared. I can't remember what that one is now.
Velocity.
No, I don't think it's velocity. Well, maybe it is. So yeah, so if you put it all together, the change in time is equivalent to the change of time over the square root of 1 minus the velocity squared over the speed of light squared. So yeah, so it's an interesting. I do not understand it all yet, but I'm trying to learn some of this stuff, and that's an equation that I just happen to love because time dilation, I think, is a really interesting thing.
Well, I mean, if you watched Project Hail Mary, you have the whole
Project Hail Mary is the first movie / book to really nail it.
Yeah,
because Interstellar, I hate that movie with a passion because everybody says it's so scientifically accurate, and it's not.
Well, it gets kind of stupid near the end when you.
Well, not least because of the time dilation of the black holes. In fact, they get so close to the accretion disk, they would have been irradiated.
Well, not only that, but okay, so they were trying to say that like an hour on the planet was like, I don't remember, years on the spaceship that was orbiting, which is why the guy in the spaceship was an old man when they got back up. However, that's the only way that could possibly work is if the planet was a black hole. Because no planet that you could actually walk on would have enough time dilation to actually make that kind of a difference to an orbiting object. The fact that the planet was orbiting a black hole is irrelevant because they're a distance away from it. Like one thing, people think black holes are these like magic vacuum cleaners. But if you were to replace the sun in the middle of the solar system with a black hole of the same mass, the planets would continue their orbits uninterrupted.
1 hour on that planet equals 7 years on Earth.
Yeah. Oh, okay. On the from Interstellar.
Yeah, I was looking it up.
I mean, not to mention the mountain-sized waves, but like I say, it's a fun movie. But yeah, it's Hollywood science.
Yeah, I was like, okay, you had 3 planets to go to, and yeah, okay, one had tons of water on it, but it's orbiting a black hole, and I'm like, why?
They
like,
all
that's just too dangerous.
Well, and that's another
thing.
Out. You notice one of the planets was an ice planet. The ice planet should have been the one orbiting the black hole because if the sun was replaced with a black hole, the one thing that would happen is the Earth would freeze because no sunlight is getting to the Earth. And so
you're getting light from the accretion disk.
Not enough. You would not get enough.
It would be mostly X-rays and gamma. So
right, yeah. Number one, it would kill you, and it'll be just name it planet cancer, and even if it didn't kill you, it wouldn't be enough light to actually allow for liquid water. So I think that whole the physics of Interstellar is a hot mess. And I get, the more I learn about physics, the more I get mad at movies like Interstellar, and the more I appreciate movies like Hail Mary. Because the guy, Weir, the writer of Hail Mary and The Martian and Artemis being the only book of his that has not been made into a movie yet. But he really, really, really does his homework on all the science, not just physics, but biology. And so that's why, like, Rocky is probably the most realistic alien ever done.
Yeah, there was a video I watched on YouTube. Was a deep dive into
his whole metabolism and stuff.
Into Eridani biology. I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
At least and I watched it before I watched the movie, so I better understood why when he came out of his mild spoilers for anyone who has not watched this. When he comes out of his thing to rescue rescue the guy, he ends up setting on fire.
Right, because he has no oxygen in his atmosphere. So to him, oxygen is like a burning poison gas. Whereas to us, because for him it's ammonia. That's like the main gas of their atmosphere.
Also, their normal temperature is very hot because remember he put that thing in that drawer and he stuck his hand into the grab and he was like, ah,
Right. And their atmosphere is 29 times denser.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if they mentioned that in the movie, but that's in the book quite a bit. And that's and the idea there is that their atmosphere is so dense and the cloud cover on their planet so dense that there's no sunlight that actually reaches the surface of their planet. And so it's all absorbed in the atmosphere on the way down. Kind of like if you go to the deep ocean where there's no sunlight.
Which is why they had very little to no understanding of electromagnetic waves.
Right. They didn't understand electromagnetism because they never ever experienced radiation. Their entire species has never experienced radiation.
And that was what killed his crew was the ship didn't have radiation shielding.
Right. And then and it's also why they don't have eyes, because you couldn't use them.
They can hear incredibly well. That part where he's like whispering and he's like, Rocky heard that. Rocky heard that too. That was so funny.
Yeah, their sense of hearing was because they don't even have ears. Just the entire body.
Their entire body picks that up. Yeah.
And then their body vibrates to communicate. So, which is why they kind of sound musical.
Yeah.
I think that from Weir did so much work behind the scenes, developing like the metabolism of Rocky and making sure that he got time dilation right and understanding the physics of astrophage, trying to make everything something that could really exist. And he, the liberties he took were very minimal. He had to take some, but he didn't take a lot.
Yeah, for Wild Space Saga, we kind of go the opposite direction. Ours is more loose sci-fi. We use things like hyperdrives and whatnot. Now, when it comes to things that they have to do using just normal space, we're gonna have to try to put that in. Like I said, we have ships that use spin to create artificial gravity and whatnot. But those are ships that that don't, they either can't afford or don't bother with actually artificial gravity plating in their inside their ships, and so we also have things that of course a ship's going to have to calculate. Okay, if their drive is damaged. Well, older ships back in the first Imperium had emergency cryo units in case something happened and the ship was marooned, and they just had to go through normal thrust and coasting their way to another planet. Right. They put yourself in a cryo unit and you'd survive the trip. But there's actually a short story, a comic I'm working on that is kind of like that. The ship was the thrusters were damaged, so all they could do is just send out an emergency beacon or hope for the best, and so they put
just
themselves
to address Finn's question. I think that is actually quite a subjective one, actually, for an answer with that, because
what is Finn's question?
The question is, what is the optimal hardness for sci-fi in general?
The optimal hardness of what?
For sci-fi.
How hard do you like your sci-fi?
Oh, for me personally, or just we can go around the round table.
That's what I mean. When he says optimal, well, it's so different for all different people, isn't it? It depends on what your focus is, whether it's the storytelling, but you set it in space, or you actually want to do a proper science fiction sort of space tale, if you know what I mean. It's to me that's really quite a broad question.
Well, okay, I'll look at it this way. I'll give a definitive answer. That's a really disgusting one, but that's okay. I think of science fiction like I think of sex in movies. So, hey, you know what? I really, really appreciate The Notebook. It's a great movie, and the romance there is awesome and everything. I love it. In fact, we just saw a movie. Oh gosh, no, I can't remember what it's called, but it was another love story we saw in the theaters just last week. It was really good. It was, and so I really, really like that. However, porn is at a whole different level, right? And so when it comes to sci-fi, I'll enjoy just about anything along the spectrum, but I really like the porn. I like the hardcore. I want the Project Hail Mary was like the ultimate. That's what I want. The Expanse is awesome. Star Trek is my first love. I will always have a special place in my heart for it. But the more I learn about science, the more ridiculous Star Trek looks.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's one thing. It's like I say, I grew up with Star Trek. I've always loved Star Trek. But the fact is, it's a drama in space.
Right.
It's a space adventure. I don't look at it as our future, where we're going.
Is it more hard sci-fi than say Star Wars? Yes, but only in that Star Trek, at least, and I'm not talking about Voyager and anything beyond Voyager, because there everything is just magic. They just call it quantum, but it's just magic. But Star Trek prior to Voyager, and especially in the original series, they tried to simply base things on known ideas. And so, in fact, one thing that's kind of interesting is that there's an episode from the first season in which the Enterprise, the episode starts out with the Enterprise completely disabled, and they're trying, and they captain just said that they just had this incredible experience trying to escape the gravitational pull of a black star. And then and it turned out that this whole adventure escaping from the black star catapulted them back in time to the 1960s, where they almost get shot down by an Air Force jet and blah, blah, blah.
Then they have to try and get the footage,
figure out a way to get home. So the interesting thing about that is that while time travel is still really considered an impossibility from a scientific standpoint, is it going backwards in time? However, the Black Star, this episode came out and aired on TV about, I think, it's like 8 months before the term black hole had ever been used.
Yeah.
And before that, it was called a black star. So they were talking about a black hole before there was such a thing as a black hole. And they were being accurate in as far as talking about the extreme time dilation effects and the difficulty that even a warp-capable ship would have in escaping it. But so that I thought was kind of cool. They base it on real science, but in the end, warp drive transporters
tell the story.
Warp drive transporters, phasers, photon torpedoes, deflector shields are all made up things that are just fun.
The reason they had the transporters, they didn't have the budget to land the Enterprise every week.
Right.
So,
Which, funny enough, though, they did do that in Lost in Space. In Lost in
much
Space,
smaller
they
ship,
literally just land the ship on all the planets. So
but theirs was a much smaller ship. So
right, I think the Enterprise was originally called the Yorktown, and it originally had a crew of like 12.
Yeah,
and so it was going to be like the size of the Jupiter 2, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Terry, what about you? What's your favorite? What is your sweet spot for hardness of sci-fi?
Well, we're sort of covering it there. I mean, Michael, is that whilst sometimes I like the concepts being used and exploring the concepts, it's always been the storytelling as well for me. Because a lot of, again, if we use the original series as an example, how many of those episodes are allegorical? where they use an alien race as a stand-in for a country or a regime or something that already existed. You know, Klingons were meant to be Russians or whatever, for example, you know. But they could then cover quite significant stories and topics through allegory.
Right.
Which,
and I think that's unfortunately a lost art in the modern story. Like, for example, the big thing to talk about these days is like LGBTQ plus stuff. And you know, when they try to deal with it in Star Trek, they don't allegorize it at all. They just straight up make, "Oh, I'm trans," and it's like,
that's how the society was meant to be.
Yeah, they don't know how to. They really, you're right. Writers nowadays, they really do not know how to allegorize things.
Right.
It's basically they take it and they just beat you over the head with it.
Right. But you know, the funny thing is that I think the best episode of any show, but it happens to be Star Trek: The Original Series, to really show the plight of someone dealing with body dysmorphia, is the final episode of the entire series. Because in that episode, Dr. Janice Lester uses a device to literally swap bodies with Kirk. And so she always felt like she, was deprived of success because she was a woman. And then, so for that episode, Kirk was literally a man trapped in a woman's body. And I think they showed it really well, because that's how someone with body dysmorphia feels. And without trying to make it about sexuality.
They did have that episode of Deep Space Nine where they had to do surgery on Quark to make him a female.
Yeah, but that was done kind of as a joke. And I that episode, it had its funny bits, but let me ask you, why would they have to do full on sexual reassignment surgery when there was no intent for Quark to actually have sex with the guy?
I guess they just wanted to make sure he was convincing enough for the Grand Nagus. So.
Yeah, but that's just weird, man.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little weird.
It's a slightly unsubtle way of doing it. Now, I think that's the thing, though, is that's where sci-fi's always been a thing, isn't it? The biggest theme I've always found consistent through a lot of sci-fi is what makes us human. What does being human truly mean?
Right.
And that's usually explored through technology, through replicants, clones, like you say, body swapping, consciousness, technology. All of that is done through sci-fi, and there's a lot of sort of really what my side of things I put into this is a lot of my characters are broken in some way, or they've been mistreated in some way because they're either engineered, they've been created for a purpose. They're treated a bit like RoboCop. They're treated as products, not people. And that's always something I've found in sci-fi is always fun to explore. These people are still human, even if they've been grown in a vat. So do they have a soul? Do they, if you believe in a soul, do they still have a soul? Are they not, are they automatons, just organic? Like replicants, they're as good as human beings in a way, because they're almost entirely organic, in Blade Runner. But they're still engineered to a degree, so are they conscious? Are they human? Are they still machines?
Well, and that's where, like, I think about, like, TNG should have really hammered that kind of a storyline with Data.
Yeah.
But instead, we got Measure of a Man was a good episode. It's one of the very few good episodes from the first 2 seasons of TNG. But the problem is that they never really followed up on it. We never really explored Dr. Pulaski as a character was the one person saying, I don't think Data's really a person. But that's all that ever happened, was she just would say that she didn't think that Data was a person. There was never
Pulaski was a female Dr. McCoy.
Oh, yeah. And I don't get me wrong, I think Pulaski was far superior than Crusher. I don't know what you guys think, but
Pulaski had more personality.
Yeah. And
I think the trouble was because people just didn't take to it for whatever reason. So
yeah. Well, it was because she was the replacement for Gates McFadden, and everybody loved Gates McFadden. And so even though I mean, I think Dr. Crusher is a really dumb character. And I mean that quite literally. She's just dumb. It seems like all the women in TNG are like, Troy is the worst counselor on the. You ever notice that when somebody has a personal problem, they'll go to Guinan, they'll go to Picard, they'll go to Riker, but they don't go to Troy.
Well, they did show that some ship crew members do go to Troy.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: Troy's
Barclay doesn't count.
How come she can't sense the Romulans if they're on a cloaked ship?
Right. Well, I mean, but in Descent, Troy tried to convince Data that it was perfectly okay that he had feelings of hatred and bloodlust when he killed the Borg, because feelings aren't good or bad; it's what you do with them. And then he turns around and tries to kill everybody, and it's like, yeah, good job there with your diagnosis. He's a sociopath, and he's standing right there telling you how he killed this guy and enjoyed it, and that's not a red flag to you?
Yeah.
I would say that given her outfits, Byron, people probably went to see Troy for other reasons.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't for advice.
All the women in the Berman, in the Braga Berman era of Trek, all the women were just eye candy. That's unfortunate, but that's kind of how it was.
Marina Sirtis definitely wasn't exactly there for acting.
I had a friend point out that I don't think they liked women in authority, because if you think about, they had a female captain of the Enterprise C, it got blown up. Troy was at the helm of the Enterprise D saucer when it crashed on the planet. And Janeway was in charge of Voyager and it got lost in the Delta Quadrant.
Don't forget, Troy also took the helm of the Enterprise E in Nemesis and crashed again. So,
He's got asked to crash at that time, though, so.
Yeah, but Troy, that's because Picard knew that was the only maneuver she could pull off, to be crashing the ship.
I mean, someone pointed that out in their entire run. Yeah, the female captain of the Enterprise got blown up, Troy crashed it, and Voyager got lost in the Delta Quadrant.
Well, Janeway was a sociopath. I'm sorry.
Well,
as long as she's had her coffee, you're safe.
For me, for sci-fi, and also in answer to Byron, I never had a crush on any of the female characters in Star Trek. I always just loved it for the stories. But for me, when it comes to the hardness,
you read those magazines for the articles,
Anyway, for me, for the hardness of sci-fi, I guess to me it all depends on what you're trying to get. But my personal favorite is something that blends in, a little bit of both, a little bit of the hardness and a little bit of the fantasy aspect. Especially if it's needed to gloss over things to pay more attention to maybe the story that's being told, maybe the character interactions, that kind of stuff. I'm just as comfortable reading a pulpy Flash Gordon-esque sci-fi adventure if it has a really good characterization or a really good story, as I am to read something a bit harder that still, does focus on a lot of the tech, but still, as long as it tells a good story and that the hardness of the sci-fi still is a good counterbalance for everything that's, being presented in it. Trying to think of what I want to say about that. It's kind of, for me, it's just kind of a big, I hate to bring in this reference. It's kind of wibbly wobbly inside my head, Though really the hard sci-fi is stuff I don't tend to glom onto, because it tends to bore me, because a lot of these writers tend to get a little too into the business of getting into the nuts and bolts of things. And I'm just like, okay, I understand. Can we, actually tell a story? I mean, as much as I absolutely loved the Pern series by Anne McCaffrey, and which does mix the sort of more fantastical aspects of sci-fi with hard sci-fi. When she gets into hard sci-fi, she loved getting into the hard stuff, and sometimes it would lose me a little bit. As much as I loved All the Weirs of Pern, which was sort of the penultimate Pern book where they meet Ivos, the supercomputer that was left behind by the original colonists, and it teaches them how to formulate a plan to get rid of Thread forever. For those of you who haven't read the Pern books. Thread is an organism that would fall on Pern for 50 years, every 200 years, and eat
slightly
anything.
off of the sci-fi side of things. It just made me think, Brandon. I remember seeing a Tom Clancy novel where it had a breakdown of a helicopter in the front pages so that you could understand what the hell he was on about later in the book.
Well, that's kind of like Moby Dick, where they go into the whole whaling
Yeah,
business.
it had an exploded view of a helicopter, giving you all the parts
Right.
of the helicopter.
Well, Moby Dick
It
has
just
an
made me
entire
think of that.
chapter
Sorry,
about
Brandon.
whale semen, so there's that.
So what I'm trying to say is that for Anne McCaffrey and all the leaders of Pern, when they meet Ibos formulates a plan to get rid of Thread, and they go into a lot of nuts and bolts, especially when they get the old spaceships that still are there in the sky, and going through all the plans and have to teach the Pernies how to build technologies that can even help them out. It gets kind of exhausting. but it's such a good book because it tells a story of how innovation, especially in the face of such a traditionalist society, can cause massive shakeups that will even cause extremism in many cases.
Right.
It keeps you interested. It has an amazing ending. So,
Just what Byron's put, because though he's addressed it to you, I'd like to respond to that. I do agree there could be a bit more hope in a lot of future stuff lately. But that is also actually why Roddenberry came up with Star Trek. He wanted a more hopeful future than what they were seeing. I think it does need to be balanced in a way that I like a future that is not perfect. It doesn't have to be completely dystopian, but our world now, it's not great, but sometimes it's what you make of it as well. And I think sometimes in our space stories, you've got these factions are poised for war with each other, but everyone else is just trying to live their lives on their colonies, fly between their planets, deliver their stuff, live their lives, do their jobs. And I think sometimes that's what we could do with more of, rather than just everyone being at war. Or, evil corporations running the world or something,
Now, Star Trek: The Next Generation did kind of get a little bit more into that in the later seasons. That it was less simplistic. It talked about the fallout from conflicts and war. That tended to be overlooked by the perfect society of the Federation when they had to deal with that planet that was inhabited by the Native Americans, and how the conflict between
Cardassians,
the Cardassians had dealt with them, and they ended up getting the short end of the stick when they were just a bunch of people trying to live their lives peacefully, and then the Federation steps in and pretty much treats them so callously. And also, I think that was kind of it was supposed to be kind of a allegory for how Native Americans were treated, in the past, by Americans. So,
although that feeds into a theory that I have about Star Trek, is that I think that the prime timeline ends with the movie Generations. I think that there is nothing on the prime timeline after the movie Generations, because I think that the Enterprise D was destroyed. Remember when before they reset the timeline? Everything after that is an alternate timeline, because in every movie after Generations, Picard is no longer Picard. He's like this action star and lover of women and all the he's not the intellectual that he was before. And we get to the Picard series, the entire Federation is now dystopian. And so even though it's a dystopia that's pretty, in that the ships are shiny and phasers and all that, but notice that in the Picard series, the leadership is all incredibly corrupt.
Yeah, well, that was intentional.
And they all curse and swear like anything.
Everybody starts.
We were supposed to move beyond
Kirkman
that.
is way too cynical. He is, but that also comes from of course, the mentality that people at Hollywood kind of embraced, during his time behind the wheel,
It's one thing that got me is they have to creep their allowed swear word in, and it really got to me watching the first season of Picard, where you have the Admiral swearing at him.
It's
like,
hubris,
one of the things they established is they were supposed to move beyond that. I'm not normally a problem with swearing. In fact, some of my characters swear like sailors,
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, think about the way that Kirk swore in Star Trek 4, right? That's he at least was trying to. You know?
Yeah, because they're not used to doing it.
Right. And so, yeah, it's not that they had never heard of swearing. It's just that it was so alien to them.
It's sort of fallen out of use.
Right. It'd be like if the Pope got up there and started preaching Samuel L. Jackson's version of the Bible, we would all be shocked, and the Pope would seem very out of place. You know,
the rarely quoted Book of Motherfucker. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, it has been quoted by the Secretary
on the
of
one
War.
who turns the air blue out the two of us.
No, that's okay. You got the one allowed F-bomb there for the show. No, but the Secretary of War of the United States literally did that, but that's weird. But that happened. And that will forever be my great takeaway from the Trump administration is that the Bible is now the Samuel L. Jackson version. But I think that dystopia is way overrated. The whole point of Trek was to say, back in the 60s, just like today, things were politically a mess. People were wanting to fight each other. People were hating on each other. It's just for different reasons now.
You had the Cold War at its height, didn't you? So
yeah, and so the whole point of Trek was, hey guys, yeah, it's tough, but we made it.
Yeah,
we will humanity will survive. Humanity will go on, and humanity will do great things once we get past all this petty crap. And that's a great message. Unfortunately, it's a message that hasn't existed in Trek. Granted, Lower Decks is kind of neutral on it because it's just done for laughs, and I think that Strange New World is better, but not quite there. But Picard and Discovery downright pessimistic about the future, where everything is corrupt, everything is bad. Even though it's kind of funny because, like with Discovery, they give lip service to how great the Federation is, but then everything we see is bad.
Yeah, the whole second season on Section 31. As much as I enjoyed it, it's look, our whole secret people keeping everything in line for us. Yeah, there's actually evil. Yeah,
right. So yeah. Anyway, it looks like it's about that time, but
yeah, it sure is.
Is that why you'd gone so quiet, Brandon? You'd stopped talking. It's like hint.
No,
we need to finish the show, guys. I've got work.
I was looking up something right quick. But
by the way, I got to tell you this. So I have a little alarm in my phone to remind me to get home to try and get to the show. And Brandon, I want you to know that the alarm says, "Don't forget you have a live stream with Deck Crash, better known as Brandon."
I still use that. I just hadn't done anything.
I just want to address something in the chat.
I do.
These guys always apologise for being late. It's like we're here on the stream. When you join in, is up to you. We don't expect you to be here on the dot. The person I expect to be here on the dot is Brandon because he's the host. I can't start the stream without him.
Viewer of the stream is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he wants to.
Yeah, well, I woke up late and I was
I was ringing him. I was ringing him on Messenger to try and wake him up because I figured he was still asleep. So I thought if his phone starts ringing, that'll wake him up.
Fortunately, I was already awake. I was in the bathroom getting my hair done. Right, I was right about to go and get back.
I ain't got any to get done anymore. I finally cut it off. Yeah,
you can have some of mine. I got plenty.
Yeah,
but I do really want to plug though for those who are late. If you've been liking my lore song little groups, I've got another one coming soon, titled "Agents of the Second Imperium." Probably some of our most eclectic bunch. In fact, one of the ones is singing the song you're hearing right now. Our friend Numi, who decided that she wanted to sound like a Glaswegian and talked just like one as well. So, because she's one of our little tech tanks, so when they hook up to the stellar version of the internet and everything like that, they tend to pull in all the data and then they get quite an eccentric personality out of it. And hers is very thick Scottish.
And and of course, make sure everyone, if you're interested in our books, we have them available. We have them available in ebook, the newer versions of the first two, on Amazon and everywhere books are sold. Also, if you're interested in checking out some of our artwork, because we have tons of it. Remember, it is on DeviantArt. We have the links down in doobly-doo. We have an X account, Wild Space Saga, where I post announcements for our upcoming live streams and lots of other things. Some of our artwork, a few things that I've rendered on Grok, just for cool animations, and even some early previews of the stuff I'm currently working on that will be posted on our DeviantArt account. Of course, Terry's Instagram account, where he's posting a lot of the music. I'm going to start posting it more on our X account as well, where we have a lot of great music done thematically for Wild Space Saga. You got to check it out. Stuff we're playing right now is music, but that is thematically based on Wild Space Saga, all done in.
You'll always hear one I haven't published yet when we do the streams, so you'll have to wait for this one.
All right, and once again,
in the words of Rita Repulsa, make our channel grow.
And of course, we'd like to thank you once again, Michael, for joining us, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you ever want to join us again, man, don't hesitate to ask. All we ask that you plug us a little bit on your channels as well.
Absolutely.
All right. And so once again, guys, this is Brandon Hill and Terrence Pegasus speaking for Wild Space Saga. I hope you'll join us again on the Northwest Passage out there. Stay lucky and stay blessed. Take care.